Love it.
What's up, guys?
I know, right? It's a different studio. I can. I mean, that's the...
No, you just, every time I
house.
see your stuff, I'm like, Omar's hyped up. All the time.
All right. And we are rolling. Just on your go whenever you're ready.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Grow and Connect podcast. I'm your host, Omar at Old School Omar. I am here with my boys, Austin and Richard Zhao. Say what's up to the people, guys.
What's up, guys? We're excited. Omar, the Grow and Connect podcast?
The Grow and Connect podcast.
That sounds next level.
Yeah,
I think we just invented something.
It just happened. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how Grow and Connect came to be what it is today. We're going to be talking about our upcoming event here on March 20th, what you guys can look out for, and topics we'll be discussing, on top of maybe some of our tips and etiquette when it comes to attending a networking event.
Let's go.
That'll be cool. And then we can see who follows our tips and etiquettes when we're at the event.
There you go. Yeah, for sure. Austin, you want to hit him with the why? How did it evolve?
Awesome. Man, I'm actually, every time I wake up and every time I see another RSVP pop up on my phone, I'm like, guys, we're on our third event. First time we had like 35 people. Second time we had like almost 70 people. And within 3 days, we almost had 100 people RSVP for this event, which is crazy. And, I'm just even more excited and even more hungry to just grow in my own personal life and my business. And I just realized like how big of an impact it makes when I connect with great people. And so that's really where this came from, is I was just like, man, the more I'm around great people, I'm learning from them, I'm more hungry about it. And then as I just connect with great people, man, just when they share their ideas, their philosophy, their experience, I love when people tell me like the stuff they went through. I'm glad you're successful, but like, tell me the stuff. Tell me the hard times that you went through. Tell me the challenges that you overcame. That's what gets me totally fired up. And then the fact that we just put an event together where there's nothing to pitch, there's nothing to sell you, nothing to sign up. We joke around and call it the anti-networking group, because there's nothing to except getting in a room with great people and sharing great ideas, and then being excited for other people's growth. So that's why I'm fired up about it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome. Well, if I can go into the background then, I remember just having dinner with my wife at Aria and walking out to the valet area, right? And Austin and I, we'd known each other. We'd known of each other since high school.
Yeah.
We bump into each other randomly, and it's always exciting. It's always a great conversation. I leave feeling better. That's just the type of guy you are. And I'm chatting with the valet guys because I've known them for a while. And then I just hear behind me, Richard! I turn, it's Austin and your beautiful wife, Jessica, and you guys had a date night. And as we're chatting, one of the valet guys pulls up a car. And I look over, and there's nobody else at valet. I'm like, that's your McLaren? And you were so humble about it. It's just that's one of the things I admire, right? No matter what you've accomplished, you're so rooted.
Stole it.
Yeah.
Stolen.
But then, I think you shot me a text and you said, hey, I got something I want to run by you. I think it was just a perfect alignment of opportunities and situations and circumstances.
Well, here's how crazy it is. I couldn't sleep for like 6 months. I would go home and I'd close my eyes and I'm like, I'm tired, I'm ready to go to bed, and my head would touch the pillow, and I just kept feeling this need to like, man, it'd be so great to get a lot of great people together. I just over and over, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to put an event together. I don't have a space. I don't know what I'd say.
Was it networking right out the gate? Like you wanted a networking event, or you wanted to just get people in the community together?
It'd be great to get like local business owners together and just help support each other. Like that was it. But I didn't know anything past that. And then I don't know if it was right before or right after I talked to you. I think it was right before I talked to you. Our guys over at Refresh LED hit me up and goes, hey, we have this beautiful space. We're new to Vegas. You can have it. Could you come host an event for us? Like that would be so cool if we could meet other business owners. And now I'm like, gosh, I feel it on my heart to do this. I now have this space for free. And then I run into you and I'm like, Richard loves people. Like Richard just remembers everybody's name. He's so good. I go, if I at least could team up with someone, I think we could pull this off. And I didn't even, it was this unformed thought. And I tell you in valet and you're like, I'm in. And I'm like, okay, but I don't even know what we're into. And you're like, I don't care, I'm in. And it literally just came together, and then I think you came out to the first one because I was like, you know what, if I was going to pack a room with really cool people, I was just thinking of people that like I would just want to spend some time with. And I thought of Omar. I'm like, Omar's a great, business owner. He started like doing fitness at the park and build it from a guy just hosting workouts in the park to his own location, his own gym.
True
you
that.
know, you and your wife have built like this community beside it. But I also know you guys just have like a heart for people. So then you showed up and you're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then after it, I mean, I was just like exhausted after the first one. Everyone's like, when's the next one? I'm like, the next one? I don't know, man. Like, when's the next one? And then you're like, dude, have it out at my place. And it almost started feeling like the origin story of like a good comic book.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, cool. I knew Richard, but like me and you didn't know each other. We knew each other in high school, but then you went off and developed this whole career. And I kind of saw you like evolve as a person. I'm like, oh, this ain't the same Richard I met. It was like you were like Peter Parker before you got the spider powers when I first met you. And then when I ran into you later, I'm like, oh dang, that's Spider-Man. Like
love that.
That's next level. Like something changed in that guy. And then Omar, you've always just been the guy that, I mean, multiple times you'd walk into my business and multiple people would know you. And they're just like, oh yeah, it's Omar, it's Omar. I'm like, oh, how does everybody know Omar? But he just has this thing that radiates. And I'm like, if you're gonna assemble the Avengers of really cool people that have a heart for people, that want to make a difference, that you know, they don't want anything from people, they just want to help them grow and connect, like this would be the group I'd put together. And so I'm super excited for Grow and Connect number 3. And I'm excited to hear you, Omar, talk about and share some things about what you've learned in your life. And, you know, I guess I'll lead that into the question, like, how do we, you know, what do people need to prepare before they come to Grow and Connect?
That's amazing. I feel like that's a wrap for the podcast. Austin nailed it. Like let's wrap it up and go home. To piggyback off you telling the story, you guys invited me to the first Grow and Connect, and it was probably one of maybe the first or second networking events I'd been to. And of course, like you get little nerves, like, am I going to know anyone there? What's it going to be like? Do I have to talk? And my wife was the one who really pushed me to go. She's like, you need to go. You got invited. So I show up. Well, actually, you were texting me beforehand because we're kind of going back and forth. And Austin was super nervous about the event. He's like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, bro,
Things are just going all over the place.
You kept me from like falling apart.
And I told him, I was like, listen, like you're doing the thing. Like you took action. You've got this into play. The event's already happening. Anything else is just extra credit. And it was
that helped me so much.
It was an amazing first event. I had such a blast. I was able to meet a handful of people in your office that I hadn't met before. I had talked to them through email, through text messages when placing orders for apparel. So it was great to connect faces to names, on top of running into a couple of the people that I knew. I know a guy, ATN. We went to high school together, so it was cool to meet him. And then I think I met you for the first time at the first Grow and Connect, right?
Yep. I've known of you for years.
Okay.
People go to your gym and they post about it. I'm like, what a cool guy. So I wonder if one day I could meet him.
Yeah, so it was just awesome being at the event as an attendee for the first one and then looking for a space and me being able to host the second event and ending up, like you said, assembling the Avengers, as you would say.
Lead segue into our team for the next
tie-in. I saw you do that.
For the next podcast or the next event. But that's funny is, you know, each time we put this together, we've had kind of a theme for each Grow and Connect.
Yeah. And
our theme for this next Grow and Connect is like, what's your superpower? I've been thinking about this a lot because, man, like, you know, there's a few things in my business that I just love that I would go, man, I love this part of the business. I'm excellent at it. It comes easy to me. I enjoy it. And there's other part of running the business. Oh my gosh, man, I'd rather go to the dentist, you know? I'd rather go play in traffic.
I get it. I'm the same way.
I'm not good
when it comes to admin, when it comes to taxes, I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything with that. Someone take care of it for me. That's
kryptonite. That's exactly, it's kryptonite.
Yeah, and that's what you delegate.
Here's the thing, I mean, even going back to when me and you were texting about the first event, I was putting this event on because I honestly kind of felt it in my heart. Like I felt like, this feels right. You know, I was attending lots of events and I was like, you know what? I just need to start facilitating. I need to step out, learn how to do something new. And I was second guessing myself the entire time. And Omar was just like, hey, just by doing it, that's the accomplishment. And it kind of helped me remind me, because like, I don't know if you guys ever experienced it, but a lot of times I'm like, is everything really going well? Is it really okay? Is it really working out? And you start second guessing yourself.
Yeah,
you start
for sure.
saying like, I'm nobody. I don't know anything, you know? But it brought me to this idea that just because you have kryptonite, it doesn't devalue or invalidate your superpower.
I love that.
It's just something you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, and so just because Superman has a kryptonite that can weaken him doesn't mean he has no powers. It just means he needs to not be around it. Like he needs to find other solutions for conquering the kryptonite. He needs a team. Yeah. Right. And so, and that's why I was like, by putting the right team together, and also like within this event, it wouldn't have happened without you guys. And then in my own business, I would have plateaued. So I already did. I plateaued long ago, and then every growth that has been since then is when I brought great people on board.
Yeah.
Because they get to like have a space to bring their superpower, and then all of a sudden our business goes to the next level. And it also gets me out of things that I'm not any good at anyways.
There's things that you shouldn't be doing in your business.
100%.
And there's things that you need to be doing in your business. And if you bring up the superheroes, right? I'm so excited for the next theme.
Yeah.
If I'm Spider-Man, your story, who you are, you got to be Captain America.
Oh man.
It's classic.
Because in the face of adversity, enemies telling you need to do the wrong thing, you've always chosen to do the right thing.
I'm working on it.
And you live by values and you live by faith, and I think that's what Captain America stands for, right? He's not just strong.
This is going next level.
I think
Those are big boots to fill.
I think we're gonna have to get you a Captain America costume.
That's
for
when
the
I've been
event.
quiet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and Omar.
Ooh, okay, here we go.
Your life was hit by a tragic accident,
Ooh,
and
good
people
one.
told you weren't going to get back up.
Yeah.
And you got back up, and you built yourself like Iron Man. Right? Lost in the desert. I just got chills.
That's deep,
Ooh,
Rich.
that's good.
Right? And the thing is, you have to constantly work out to keep your health up.
True.
Just like Iron Man has to keep the metal shards away from his.
But here's the
chest,
thing:
right?
when you told the story at the second Grow and Connect that you wrecked, how fast were you going?
Yeah,
when
it's
you
going
wrecked
about
your
150 miles an hour.
150 mile an hour motorcycle accident shouldn't have survived, let alone walk again,
Totally.
let alone that somehow be. It doesn't even make sense. That's the catalyst for you getting into fitness and opening a gym and just walking around looking like a Greek god. Like, how is that even possible? And so I'm like, ooh, super. You know, the funny thing is like, even when you have like a comic book, you're going through and you're like, why is a superhero? Why are they second guessing themselves?
Yeah, true.
They're a superhero, and it's like, oh, maybe there's something just about the reason why we all love, like superheroes is like they're impossibly great, and at the same time they're so relatable.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, that's all of the people in our lives. Like, it's funny how many people that I think are just the most amazing, great people in the world, and you don't know behind the scenes they're struggling, and they're like, they don't know, they don't like their confidence, or they're trying to figure it out. I'm like, dude, you're the most amazing person I know. What do you mean you don't know if you can pull it off? And it's funny how we all start playing the same game in our mind,
true.
but it's completely different than what's going on the outside. So a lot of times when we grow and connect together, and we just kind of share that, dude, I'm running a small business. It's difficult, but here's how I'm learning how to do it. Here's how I'm going through it. People go, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always the breakthrough to letting people just go, or helping people go to the next level.
Yeah, I was telling Richard earlier while we were waiting about when someone else introduces you, you get to hear yourself from a third person perspective. And it's like, wow, I need to record that and keep that in my notes somewhere when you're feeling insecure, when you're feeling like a lack of self-worth. But it's a part of that. We all go through that. We all go through a little bit of doubts. We all go through a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, do we deserve to be in the room? And the answer is yes. You deserve to be in every room that you're invited to,
That's exactly. And leading that into one of the most powerful things about coming to like Grow and Connect or a networking event is when you like bring a friend. Like, bring a friend just so you can introduce your friend to people.
That's great.
Like, because that introduction from someone else is always better than if you're trying to tell people what you do.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like anytime I go, and I've experienced this at times when I've been a part of a group and I see a new person coming, and I get like, hey, let me introduce you to everybody. Now all of a sudden I'm taking the role of helping them assimilate and meet people, and they're like, oh my gosh, I felt like first day of school, but now I'm best friends with 50 people because one person took the time to introduce me to people.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. It's like that's one of his superpowers.
I was going to say
Richard
that. That's one thing I look up to both of you about is you guys are here to serve. Like, you serve others by doing that, bringing a friend and introducing them to someone else to open a door. And when I first met Richard, I swear the first things that came out of his mouth after it was nice to meet you was like, what can I do to serve you? What can I do to help you in your business today? And I was like, wow, I just met this guy and he's looking to help me out in any way he can. That's an amazing quality and trait that you have that I've always admired.
Yeah,
that's
pulling the webs together. I learned from a lot of great people.
Yeah.
I've watched it happen, and conversations are 1,000% better with an appropriate introduction.
Yeah.
And I'll even stop because people sometimes you're like, it's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
I'll say no. Let me properly introduce you because it creates such a tighter connection.
Man,
That's amazing.
I think that's
amazing.
a tip for when people come to Grow and Connect.
Yeah, it really is.
Is make sure to introduce yourself. Make sure to introduce any two people that you know that don't know each other. magic happens.
The cool thing about it too is, I mean, it's kind of, even though it's growing for us and it's big, it's still kind of a small community where most everybody that's coming knows us. So when we get to go out of our way and introduce people that we already know that are great in our lives to other people, oh my gosh, it's the best, and that's one reason why Grow and Connect has been so much fun is it hasn't been a group of strangers. It's kind of been groups of people that we all that think that they're amazing, and we've pulled them together and then just started introducing them to each other. It's like, could you imagine if a bunch of superheroes were in a room together that didn't know each other were superheroes? Like everybody's like Clark Kent, and they don't know that everybody else is actually is secretly Clark Kent, but they're really Superman. And you start introducing them to each other, and it's like they start pulling away, they're Clark Kent. You're like, oh, he's also a superhero. He's also a superhero, and that's one thing I'm so excited because we're part of like facilitating this is we get to kind of brag on people and shout out and be like, man, like Chris from Red Rice is going to be catering. And like, if you don't know his restaurant, you got to check it out. Omar runs this great gym, and just going through the whole different thing of like, even Amy and her family that run Fortified Fitness, like the fact that we get to just show them off and be like, guys, this is a great space. If you live up in the Northwest, you got to come check it out. I actually have a friend that's coming, he's coming because he was looking at going to her fitness space.
Yeah, there you go.
And then he's like, wait, I was already looking at that space, and then it's there. And I'm like, dude, it's meant to be.
Yeah,
like it's meant to be.
Totally. So we're talking about superpowers and kryptonite. Do we want to go around and discuss briefly what we think our superpower and kryptonite is?
Yeah.
Vulnerability.
I mean, we're already talking about connection, which I think we all have a power for connecting others, and that's why the Grow and Connect events have been so successful. Is I think we've taken each one of our social circles and combined them into one room, and people are staying connected.
I just know Austin, and he knows everyone else.
That's not true. Richard knows everyone, but you know what? I'll take the first stab at it. I feel like my superpower is I love people. Like, put me on the phone, let me answer, let me talk to people, let me connect with people, put me in a room of strangers. I love it because to me, I know it's not about me. That's my favorite thing. Is like I've already come to that conclusion that put me with strangers, and I'm so eager to learn about them and learn about their business. And when I get to work with people in my business, they're coming and sharing. My clients are sharing to me what they're doing in their business. And it's like the more I make it about them, it just turns into this great relationship. Like, oh, here's what they want to accomplish. And then I'm just serving them. But man, keep me out of accounting. Like, keep me out of bookkeeping. Keep me out of if there's the person that needs to like put the Excel sheet together and organize it. That is where like kryptonite comes in, and I start having the green veins going up my neck, and
100%.
I'm dying because like I thank God I have my wife who's great at all those things.
High five
right there.
Shout out to the wifeys. Yeah, you guys are amazing. We wouldn't be where we are if it weren't for you guys.
Even within this group, like. How there's different, superheroes, and like some of them are like invisible. Like, like Fantastic Four. You have the person that turns invisible, like the lady. Her name's Michelle, and she's secret. She's hiding behind the counter, the camera.
Shout out to Michelle.
She's got the invisible superpower. Sorry,
not possible without Michelle.
She's off the grid, but none of us would be able to do this without her.
Yeah, really quick, because Michelle is behind the scenes, but I thought Michelle was coming in to just help set up some chairs and some decor for the event, and it was like, no, she was checking people in at the event, name tagging it, connecting people at the door. It wouldn't have been possible without Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. You are the bomb.
Her superpower, she's invisible. Like we tried to get her another chair. She's like, sorry, like her superpower, she's just not visible on camera. She's just.
But then things happen, and you're like, how did that happen? Oh, the invisible
stuff's floating. Yeah.
That's it.
But she's been amazing. I've known
the best.
I feel like I've known Michelle for decades, but it's only been 8-9 months.
Oh, no way.
And she's just been this incredible like multiplier because we're good at certain things, and it's people like Michelle who gets what we do and just fills in the cracks and helps us multiply our efforts. So thank you, big time.
Next level.
Thank you guys.
What you got, Rich? Superpowers.
I shoot webs, witty comebacks.
So true.
It's funny.
You connect people.
I connect. I
That's the
like.
webs.
I see I do see structures. I am more structured. I am more detailed. So it's actually a perfect fit for us to work together on that. But working with someone like Michelle, I'm like, maybe I'm not so detailed.
Hey, when it's your superpower, it's the next level.
Right,
and
right.
She's on the next level.
Is the Excel spreadsheet? Is that the weakness? Is that a kryptonite? That's why.
I try. I've realized like I'll push through it. I'll push through to work even though I don't want to do it. But it takes me so long. Versus Michelle just goes click clack, 5 seconds later, it's this beautiful spreadsheet. I'm like, I don't even know how you began to do that. But I think I see. I have this. I like taking complicated ideas and understanding it, and then regurgitating it in a simple way.
Great communication.
Because I think a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people go, well, that's a complicated idea. I don't want to take the time to understand it. And that's why I feel like I think slower than most people, because I'm taking the time to process a lot more. And I'm proud of it. I'll own it, right? Because you guys will get something and I'm staring and I'm still processing and I'm still thinking. Maybe that's a potential kryptonite. But I really think I want to thoroughly understand something so I can make the proper connection so it's a good fit. If I introduce you, just so you know, none of it's a lie. Yeah, I just see you for who you are and the best things that you have and what's compatible with Austin, right? For you guys, I would talk about faith and I would talk about being husbands and fathers and entrepreneurs and how much you guys have a heart to help other people, right? I don't necessarily need to talk about old school cars, even though you might like old school cars too, but it's the things that are like first and foremost, clearly these guys need to connect on those things. I think that way about my friends.
That's awesome.
That's next level.
That's an awesome trait.
Yeah.
Awesome quality to have. Yeah. I would say my superpower, I love, same as you, connecting, and I also love creating. I think I've always just had kind of creative mind. So when we did the second event and it was like, how are we going to promote this? And I'm like, I got a camera and a microphone. Let's set it up. Let's just shoot. And Austin's actually really good on camera as well. Like one take wonder. We just set it up and we thought we were going to need like 30 minutes and we took 30 seconds and we were done with like 3 clips like that. And I think that one boomed also because Richard talked about tacos. That's the main reason why so many people came to the second event. But I love connecting people and I love creating. I love driving conversation through my own vulnerabilities. I think what I've learned is being able to share stories such as my motorcycle accident, which is one that I don't like to talk about. But again, the wife is always like, you got to tell that story so that people are inspired by being told that you wouldn't be able to walk to running a gym and being so into your fitness. So that's one element that I just truly enjoy, just the connection and creating part.
If I look at you, I just feel like you were born with an 8-pack, right? Because when you say I came from there, and this is where we are now, the contrast is what's so powerful.
I just think he's Tony Stark.
Yeah,
but it makes sense because
yeah.
you give him the first challenge, he might be like, oh, but he grows and gets stronger the more you throw at him. That's completely.
I'm gonna have to go and watch this Iron Man stuff now. You guys know we don't have a TV. We haven't had a TV for like going on 2 years. So a lot of the
we'll describe them.
A lot of the superhero talk. I'm like, I guess I gotta go do some research. I've never been compared to Iron Man before.
No, this is cool. So what other things do we want to hit on?
I think we should go into like networking etiquette, like some things that you take into like a networking event.
What can we equip people with, right? For those of them, the people that haven't realized their superpowers, what can we equip them with so that when they show up to Grow and Connect, they can start trying their superpowers? Or what are tips, I guess, right? Tips and etiquette that people can start applying when they're networking. What have you found to work?
I've got a tip. Here's the biggest tip. Here's the biggest thing I think that will equip you to be successful when you show up to a networking event. It's not about you. Like, it's not about your business. It's not about what you can offer to people. Like, it's not about what you can take from people. It's about what you can offer. So I think if you show up to an event or being around people, or even anytime you meet somebody, if you show up and you make it not about you and you're more interested in learning and being interested instead of trying to be interesting, it's going to go a long way. It's going to go a really, really long way.
That's huge.
Love that.
Because a lot of times, as an introvert, and we shared this on Omar's podcast, as an introvert, I think, how do I look? How do I smell? What do I say? What do I say to make sound more interesting? But it's more important to be interested than interesting.
100%.
Right? So the moment I flip that switch, and sometimes it's like visual. You can see me just thinking, and then all of a sudden, wait, let me find out about Omar. And now I'm not worrying about myself anymore.
So when you're not worrying about yourself, what are some tips you would give to make it about others? Like, how do you approach making it about others?
Yeah, I mean, where I would start is one, like, just be friendly and outgoing. You know, like asking people, like, hey, what is something that's happened that is exciting in your life that you're excited about? You know, just learning or asking people about their business. What do you enjoy about your business? I think here's one thing that I heard recently, and I would recommend everybody that's showing up. put 3 or 4 questions together beforehand and be ready before you show up, because it's
There you
hard
go.
to just have these great questions off the top of your head and just be able to make, small talk flow. Why not show up prepared? Well, I mean, one question could be, hey, what's something going on in your life that you're excited about? Tell me what's been successful in your business. Hey, tell me what's something that you've overcome in your business. Like just jot down 4 or 5 questions before you show up to the event and just have them ready. So that way, when it happens, it might feel a little artificial at first, but it's just there to trigger a great conversation. And then you have
Yeah.
that great conversation with someone, you connect, hey, exchange contents, like join them on, follow them on Instagram. That way you can remember what their face looks like.
Yeah.
But I would have 3 or 4 questions like ready to go.
I think that was a big, a big reason why we had a great second event is because we kind of led conversations for people to kind of connect, and we asked out to everyone, like you said, like what's something you guys are all struggling with, and we gave people 2 to 5 minutes to discuss that within the group that was around them, so they were able to open up and discuss some things that may be vulnerable to talk about. You know what I mean?
And Austin, you're so good at this. You have this innate ability, and it's a gift. You just make people feel good, right? So in the middle of a conversation, you ask people questions, you get to know people, and they feel valued, and then they walk away going, "Oh, that was such a great conversation." I think it's just naturally you. I have to artificially create that. Okay, so I have questions, and I have general questions, but then because it's missing the blanks, because there's things I don't know about Omar. How do I ask questions to fill in those blanks? So it's really strategic, but it's done like I want to have a full image of Omar in my head once I'm done.
Got it.
Right. So
Well, I mean,
that's how I
here's
wanna
one
get to know
thing too:
Omar.
is when I was putting the first event together, and I knew a bunch of people were coming. Luckily, we had a great app, so I could see who was all coming. I would go through the app and just, if I knew them or thought about them, I spent a few seconds kind of thinking of who they were, because I said, hey, I have no idea how these people are going to interact with each other.
Yeah.
But I'm the host. So I've got to make sure I be a good host. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have like parents or friends that are just excellent hosts. I have some people I've gone to their house and they just make you feel so great and so wonderful. And I was like, that's my responsibility as the host to like, hey, let me grab someone you don't know. Let me connect you with this person and connect you with this person. Because I felt that when I had joined a group once and I was like showing up like first day of school, like, oh, this feels horrible. And then the second week, I'm barely part of the group and I see new people joining. They don't know if I've been part of the group a week or 10 years.
Yeah.
So I went out of my way and introduced them to people that I had only met last week. And all of a sudden it just created this like instant community. And that's kind of our responsibility. Is like, we know we're going to have great people in the room because we can already see, we invited a bunch of great people, but then we can be a great host by just going out of our way and connecting with people. Because in business, the most powerful thing, more powerful than marketing or an ad or anything like that, is a referral. Like a referral is gold. And when I go, hey, Richard, you gotta meet Omar, and I say some great things about Omar that are completely true, but as I connect you guys, by being connected by a third party that validates you, it's actually more powerful than you just connecting on your own. Because I know a little bit about him and a little bit about you, and I get to just brag about like, oh, I worked with Richard on this project, and I worked on Omar with this project. These guys are reliable, they're great. Like a referral is like a golden handshake, and that's why it's so important to make sure you're surrounded by good people and not good, and not bad people.
People you
because
can count on.
you could easily burn it all down by having the wrong connections, and that's why it's so important to grow and connect with great people.
And
Love that.
I'm learning that.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple of my
powerful.
tips or things that I would have changed when attending networking events would be, I know you said you'd like to come late, but I would arrive early because you get to get like an inside scoop, like even to the studio, arriving early to the studio, I get to introduce myself to these guys, and you don't know how long I've known them for if
No
you've come
idea.
after me.
Yeah.
So it's like you're like secondhand coming into a room not knowing anyone, just like you said. No one knows how long you've been in that room for,
Yeah.
and they don't even know who you are. So you almost have an advantage if you show up early
That's good.
ahead of those who are arriving late. That's just me. I also felt a little insecure when people were asking for business cards. I'm like, man, like, I'm the one kid in here without a business card. Come on, Omar, get it together.
Come on,
But to caveat that, I think what's really cool is like the power of social media, because at the last event that we went to, like you're able to obviously pull out your phone and you can send text, but like to pull up Instagram, like, hey, like let's share Instagrams. And then you find them on there. And what was cool, it was to be able to see like mutual friends.
Yeah.
You know, then you get exposed to their circle. Like, oh, like how do you know like Andrew from The Good Life? Oh, he meal preps, he does food. Cool. Like maybe we can get him in the next event so he can promote that. And you just kind of get connected through social media, which is something I never thought would happen, but it was powerful at the last event because I met 3 or 4 people and we all had at least 2 or 3 mutual friends. And that kind of just broke down that barrier and like was a nice icebreaker into having a easy conversation with them. You were able to
turns a stranger into a friend
real quick. Totally.
Yeah.
Degrees of separation get
The
smaller
other
and
thing that
smaller.
I would recommend anyone that's going to go to a business like business networking event or anything like that, you don't even necessarily have to have a business card, but go grab one of those apps. There's so many great apps where you can kind of program and make your digital business card and share it with a QR code.
Got it.
Like those are so great because then I can throw a photo in there. I get through my website, my email, all these different things. And I've used them when I've gone to big events where I'm just going to meet a bunch of random people and I can do it. And then on their end, if they have the app, it automatically downloads it. But if they don't have the app, they kind of fill out a form to receive it. So I get to like catch some of their information.
Got it.
Because
What do you use? What have
in
you
the
used
end-
before?
Man, I honestly can't remember the one I used. I was hoping you were going to call me
I'm
out
like an
on
app.
it. I was like,
Fill me in. I
gotta
don't have
look at the
business
one-
cards.
I got to look at the one that I used.
I'm going to talk to the other side of that then.
Go ahead.
Because I mentioned earlier, I don't like business cards. It's just me personality. It's not like a authority on the matter, right?
Yeah.
Because if I lose the business card, then our connection's gone forever. And I go, no, what? So then now if I meet you and I like you, I'll text you. If you give me a business card, I'll actually hand it back to you and I'll go, Omar, I really like you. I for sure want to stay in touch.
So if you've ever met Rich and he's giving your business card back, you know why.
he
You
likes
didn't
you.
pass the test.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a good thing. If I give your card
Oh,
back.
I'm sorry. If you keep the card.
If I
Sorry.
keep the card.
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully I reach out, right? But if I don't, then there's so many variables in play that I'm like, what if I give you a card and you forget to reach out? And maybe I'm more accountable. So can I just text you right now? Can I
love
just
that.
send you a message so we have a string of connection right now?
Yeah. I love that.
You know, another great tip I would give anytime you're going to a business or a networking event is don't try to connect with everybody in the whole room. It would be more powerful to connect with 5 great people and to spend 10 minutes with them than to connect with 1,000 people for 20 seconds. It's not the same. And there's been times where I've gone to events where there's 5,000 people in the room. And I looked around and I was like, you know what? There's no way I can connect with all these people. There's no way the people on stage are connecting with all these people.
True.
But there's been many, many times where the 4 people around me, lunch break, I said, hey, you guys want to go eat together? Or there's been times I've gone to business events where 4 or 5 people, I said, hey, you guys want to grab dinner afterwards? They're all in town anyways, they got nothing else to do and we'll go to dinner. I even have a WhatsApp group with people we call the Winner Circle because we were all at an event together. We're all strangers. That night we got so much good information that we went to dinner and then we decided to all go to dinner the next day. And I'm telling you, like half these people are from other countries and we created a WhatsApp group in our own thing because, we connected with 6 people like really, really strong. But I think that's more valuable is the quality of the connection instead of the quantity.
Love that.
So I would say, man, connect with a few people and spend 5-10 minutes with a few people, and the quality is going to make a big difference.
The
love that.
depth of the relationship versus
is
quantity.
absolutely. Well, and then also
huge.
like you don't get married on the first date. Like, one of my post tips would be like schedule like coffee with somebody. If you met someone that was cool, don't wait 6 months to hit them up again. Like within the next few days, even after we did the first event, I remember from us hosting that I had, if you guys come over my house, it's just to hang out a little bit more. It's because let's take the relationship a little bit deeper. And then I'll love doing that. Always having a post meeting or a post get together after an event, 'cause especially when you meet 2 or 3 people, go make sure you take the next step and keep connecting.
I love that.
And maybe it's selfish, but and I want to say this in a positive light. But when I go to a lot of other events, I'm at a lot of networking events. I don't often meet people I actually want to. Hey, this next week, I'd love to get coffee. But at our first event, at our second event, I met people and right away I was like, we need to meet immediately. Like, I really want to get to know you more. There's not enough time today. Let's please find time. But I go to other events and I'm not I don't feel pulled to do that. I'm like, all right, I got your card. I'll reach out at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk to you in the future.
Well, I'll tell
maybe
you
run into each other
where
again.
I learned that is growing up going to church. My parents would always take a new family out to eat afterwards.
Wow.
And that always made a huge impact in our life. And I found myself doing that all the time. Like I'm meeting total strangers at church. I'm like, you want to go eat? Like it's because I just know hey, at church we didn't talk. Like you're not supposed to talk during
Yeah.
the service.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like, well, how else are you going to connect? Just by showing up and sitting in a chair is not going to do it. When you break bread and be able to share a
Yes.
meal with people,
Yeah.
that's where it all happens. That's where real relationships come. And man, the quality of relationship matters more than the quantity.
Yeah, I love that. We'll even do after church is like go grab coffee, post coffee, and we'll invite like whoever's around the circle. Like, hey, we're gonna go grab coffee. You guys want to roll? And then we'll go have coffee and even like debrief the message and talk about what people took away. So I love that you mentioned that, because if you make a meaningful relationship, yes, you should take action to hang out with them and get to know them as soon as possible. Yeah, don't wait 6 weeks, 6 months. Like, do it the following week, you know?
Because you never know, the next person that you meet could be the person that unlocks an idea. They could share their philosophy with you. They could tell you something, how they overcome. And you, like for me, I'm always growing and taking all the nuggets and just taking them in, and they just keep affecting my life. Like, you know, I realize like my business is growing not because like I'm really smart. It's because like I keep trying to learn the best from everybody else. I want to have that superpower where you like touch someone and you have their superpower for a minute. Like
Just
one of the
absorb it all.
X-Men. Yeah, that's the one that I want, because when you're around great people, you can soak up their life experience and you can soak up the things that they learned to take their business to the next level. And many times when you get to share great experience, it might have taken you a year to go through it, but you share the final concept that you've, you know, been through in your mind, and now they get to have a takeaway that they get to apply in minutes that took you years.
I love that.
And that is what, you know, creates growing connection.
That's so good.
I was gonna say, maybe we can wrap up with
Yep.
one of like your most impactful single connections you've made through a networking event. Maybe even at Grow and Connect.
I'll just start because that's like I have one example and it's life changing for me, so it's always on top of my mind. You guys met Fenton at the first Grow and Connect.
Yeah.
He was a speaker. I met him when I was 20 years old, and he spoke on stage about success. There was a success speaker that didn't show up, ironically, not practicing success principles. But Fenton filled in, and he gave a talk about success, real, authentic, genuine success, the impact you make, the people, the person you become, the people that you touch, what's your legacy. And that caught my attention and changed my understanding of success forever. And I'm in touch with him to this day, 14 years later, and he's a hero of mine. And so,
Wow.
And I just had the guts to reach out and stay in touch.
That's awesome. Good story. I will say I met Carla Stevenson.
Carla's next level.
Yes, at the first Grow and Connect event. And through that, just exchanged contact information. She was doing something with, what's her thing called?
Fatherhood?
The parenting.
The parenthood, something like that. But she ran this fatherhood project that she invited me to, and it was like a 6-week course that they're doing every Friday. And I was like, cool, I'd love to go. And like day one, walk in, and I share my story of whatever question they asked, and I'm just bawling. I'm like, all right, I'm in the room of 6 complete male strangers, and here I am just sharing my story. But that connection through meeting her at the first Grow and Connect event has been so impactful. Like I was a part of her journey for 6 weeks on this course, and then in the future we're looking to host a fatherhood project to be able to expose other men to that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've known her for over 15 years. I've gone to church
She's
with her.
great.
She's incredible.
Yeah. Shout out Carla. Carla's doing amazing
I've
things.
still yet
with
to
the
meet her. I'm
Fatherhood
very
Project.
excited.
Oh, yeah,
I'm very excited to meet her.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I've seen her be involved in like children's ministry and Sunday school, and like almost every kid in our church can look back and be like, I was in Carla's Sunday school for a while, you know, and it made an impact on their life. So yeah, Carla's amazing. But for me, I actually have to say like the biggest impact I've had in doing this is growing closer to you guys. And the funny thing is I knew you guys both at like a distance. Like, you know, I knew Richard, he was doing his thing. I knew Omar, like, we'd print T-shirts for his gym, but we were like, you know, we never ate food together. You know, it wasn't like that. And then even connecting. And so that's why, like, kind of on the back end of the preparation that comes into the event, you know, everyone gets to come and spend 2 hours with each other. I get to spend 2 months with you guys leading up to the event, and, you know, getting to like know you guys like, oh my gosh, like now it's funny, we'll run into each other at other events and we're like, are you learning? Like, yeah, I'm growing. I'm gonna get some nuggets, you know. We're always like on the hunt now looking for other stuff. And so I'm like, seriously, it's made a huge impact to be able to have a text group with you guys that we're texting 3-4 times a week. I think to realize, I think we're all, this whole Grow and Connect is just an excuse so we can hang out.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a
Pretty
good point.
much.
I really love that. You really nailed that.
And every time I feel like giving up, you guys are like, let's do it. And I know other times when you guys are like, I'm like, come on, let's do it. It comes in waves.
Takes a
And
team.
So, man, and that's the fun of building things. You get a bunch of great people together, it pulls out the best of them. And like, it's funny. We don't even have this big plan. We just keep showing up and doing it, and it just blows our mind how much great stuff comes from it.
I love it.
Before we start really wrapping things up, I want to give a huge shout out to Trevin, who we're in this beautiful studio, the video podcast studio in Henderson, and it's just
This is great.
the high quality, world class. Just grateful that he's helping all this get set up. But in terms of grow and connect, right? I think I have a vision for grow and connect. If we can change the way networking events are ran, right? So many people showing up and taking this away, and it's going to ripple into other networking events. If we can change the way people grow and connect together, just through these conversations and our little events, how cool would that be?
Next level.
Amazing.
Next level.
Austin, tell us about the next Grow and Connect event.
Grow and Connect is coming up in less than 2 weeks, March 20th. It's
Super
gonna be
excited.
at Fortified Fitness.
gonna be great.
Our biggest event so far. We have 100 spots available, and we already have 96 people RSVP'd.
Ooh, better get
That's
on it.
Crazy. So make sure you come. And then, if for some reason, if you can't make it, we're going to post our next one in about 2 months, and we're going to roll right from Grow and Connect 3 to Grow and Connect 4.
Let's get it.
That's going to be at an awesome spot. We're going to talk about where that is, and we're going to shoot back from North Las Vegas all the way to the south side for everybody that couldn't make it over.
I love that. One
be
last
great.
tip before we go is to not procrastinate. If you're thinking about attending a networking event, don't wait till the last minute. There's only 4 spots left, right? Don't be that person. Don't be that guy. Don't snooze. Snooze, you lose.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. Just
All
do it.
right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
That was a blast.